Alrighty. What's up, everybody? Let me make sure my Bluetooth is on. Yes. So today we're going to be having a very, very, very special live session because this is actually going to be episode number 1 for Women Boss Ignited. Women Boss Ignited, we serve a community with over 1,400 women entrepreneurs that are purpose driven. And we really love, to focus on getting ignited, right? I always talk about igniting the fire that never dies out. As a mom entrepreneur myself, as a serial entrepreneur, as every all the roles and titles, right, that I have, I realize that we have times in our life where, we get down, we get sad, we fall off course. And this live is all about reigniting that fuel, right? Getting back into the role of things and learning some new skills and strategies to really boost you up, to give you the life that you may desire, that laptop lifestyle, being able to work from your phone. So with that being said, I do have a special guest on our episode today, and she's actually a mom entrepreneur as well. She's a e-commerce coach, and she's actually one of my mentors who showed me the game and taught me how to launch my own e-commerce agency as well. Her name is Candace Writer. I'm going to be bringing her on.
I was mute. I'm like, I gotta unmute. But hello. Hi,
Hi.
Daza.
Hi,
I am
Candace.
hi. I am so excited to be here and be with the Woman Boss Ignited community.
Yes, I'm so thankful that you were able to hop on with us today, Candace. This episode just would not have been right without you. I mean, you've shown me so much and taught me so much about just everything, digital. Even before this live, I'm like, Candace, how do we take and extract the audio so I can post it? So you always bring just so much value to everybody's lives, especially mine, I
Aw.
appreciate you, and I'm thankful. So, Candace, let's get into it.
Yes. Well, yeah. Thank you for that. I feel the same way, Daza. I love talking with you. I'm just looking for my notes right now. So if you're watching the replay on the video and I'm looking away, I'm looking for my notes. Um, but I'm just happy to be here, and I feel the same. I feel like you are my soul sister. Whenever we connect, we just elevate ourselves, elevate our lives. So I'm excited. So just like she said, let's get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all who was Candace. Like, I'm gonna give you my story. I've never done this before. I've never given the in-depth story, so bear with me. But I'm 29. I'm a mama of a beautiful 3-year-old. So I want to take you back. I want to take you back to like when I was a little tween until I was 20. So as Daza mentioned, I am an e-commerce coach. I'm a print-on-demand coach. I'm a digital marketing coach. I'm a lot of things. So I want to share with you my story so you can be like, how did Candace get where she is? Like, because Daza and I know some friends will be like, oh my gosh, like you're full of wealth and knowledge. And I'm like, well, let me tell you, it's years of pouring into myself, and it's years of continuing to get out of my comfort zone and to grow. So I want to share with you my story. I want to paint my picture so you can just be like, okay, if Daza and Candace can do it, because I know Daza's going to share her story, you can listen and be like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yes.
So growing up, I was a athlete. I played basketball. I played a year up in college, and that's where I'm going to start. I'm not going to give you my whole childhood, but I did go to college for a year, and my focus was basketball. So after my first season, I had dropped out. That's a whole different story, Loved playing. I loved my teammates, but that's a whole different story. So I dropped out of college. I was working at Foot Locker at the time, loving my Foot Locker job. I'm 20 years old. I'm young. I'm going out. I'm making enough money. But then my friends were like, Candace, move out with us. Like, we want to move out. So then I go to my dad and I'm like, Dad, I want to move out. And he's like, well, you're not going to school. And he's like, you need to make more money. So he's like, why don't you come work with me and make more money and learn how to make money? And quick story about my dad, he's like the entrepreneur's best friend. There is nothing this man has not done. So I have grown up with a dad who I've been exposed to a lot more. So I had the luxury and the privilege to work behind him, beside him for the past almost 8 years, 8.5 years now. And I've learned a lot through him. I've worked in so many different industries, mainly all on the laptop. So I worked in e-commerce, I worked in branding, I've done, data entry, I've gone to events, I've learned sales. So I've done so much. And at that time, like I said, I wanted to move out. So I got introduced to the digital marketing world, the laptop lifestyle, and I was able to work out. So 9 years later, here I am, I'm working. He had a company called Be You, Be Your Own You. It was a lifestyle brand for women, to encourage to love yourself and be yourself. And with that company, I actually worked with that company before I actually started working for him. I was like 13 years old. And that's when I discovered the passion to serve women and to help women and be a part of the sisterhood community. So through these 8.5, 9 years of working through him, I'm like figuring out my passion, what I like, what I don't like. Be you. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take the reins of this company. He's like, Candace, take the reins. Like, you can take the reins now. He's like, I trust you. So he was like, do what you want. So this was now about like probably 4 or 5 years ago. I took the company, I rebranded it. I'm showing up on social media. I'm doing my own podcast. And it was all good. But then I got into a relationship, and I don't regret anything in my past. Of course, there are decisions that, I wish didn't happen, I didn't make, but I'm thankful for everything in my past because it shaped me to who I am today. But I got in a relationship where I held myself back because since my boyfriend at the time, he wasn't climbing the ladder, he wasn't elevating. I just felt like I didn't want to demasculate, and I'm being very transparent. I didn't want to demasculate him, so I brought myself back down. I didn't want to. You mind you, I'd love to see in the comments like how you feel about the situation. But for me personally, I just did not want to like rise above him and like make way more money than him. I don't know why. That's just maybe because I come from like a little bit traditional values, and I want my man to be the protector and the leader and the provider. So as a woman, I was like, I kind of subconsciously held myself back, and I didn't do the things that really ignited my soul and that made me feel good. So then I finally get out of the relationship, and I was like, oh, I can breathe. All this weight is left. And mind you, that was a crazy relationship. But so when I got out, I was out. And I got back to my podcast. I went back to going to events because I was immersing myself in the identity of who I wanted to become. I wanted to become my highest self. I wanted to be that girl who could help women be in alignment with who they are, create the job of their dreams, live the life they desire. So I'm doing it. I'm feeling good. Old Candy is coming back. And then guess what? 6 months later, I get pregnant. And let me tell you, that's a whole different story too. But it was a shock. It was not planned, but I am so grateful. My daughter, who's now 3, is my little best friend, like my little best friend. She's just like me. It's kind of scary, but I love her. But that took me for a whole whirlwind. So guess what? I was pregnant at the time. I was pregnant and alone. I was a single mom for almost the first 2 years. And so same thing, I had to immerse myself in motherhood. I'm now figuring out who I am as a woman and as a mom. So I put BU back on hold. And it was also the pandemic. So I couldn't even leave anywhere. So I really took that like pandemic for me. And I was like, okay, I'm at home. I can't leave. I got a baby. So I really just fully soaked in motherhood and was discovering once again, who was Candace. I had to go through a whole rediscovery phase. And mind you, I was still time to time working for my dad. Oh, and also I moved back in. So you guys, I went from living on my own for like 6 years to moving back in with my parents, being jobless because I went on maternity leave. The pandemic happened. My dad at the time had to let off a lot of employees because of the pandemic. I was one of them. So I was jobless. But once again, I was like, okay, it's a pandemic. I can just focus on being a mom and try and figure out who I am now because I did not plan for this to happen. So, next thing you know, things are lightening up in the pandemic. My dad, he had an opportunity for me. He was like, hey, we have just launched, he said, my new company, Launchcart, which we're going to share about maybe in this call or a different call, which is an e-commerce platform. It's a competitor to Shopify. So he was like, hey, to bring in some money for you, like, how about you build stores for me? And I'll pay you an hourly wage. And I was like, okay, good. Like, I'll do anything because I need money. Like, yes, I'm living in my parents' house, but I was still in debt. I still had a car payment. I still probably had a phone payment. Like, I had all these things. So I still had to make an income. So that leads me into like the kind of cool part of the story is I start building stores for him, and I'm making about $20 an hour, which is good, right? But I can't work that much. And I was like, Dad, if I'm ever going to be able to move back out on my own and raise my family, my daughter and myself, like I need to make more money. Like this ain't cutting. I don't know what to do. And mind you, I couldn't afford daycare. So it wasn't like I could go put her in daycare to go work more hours. I was on my own, like financially at that point. And so he was like, well, why don't you start getting your own clients and take all of it? Because what he was doing, he would get a client that would pay him and I would get paid the hourly wage to make these e-commerce stores. And I was like, no, no. I was like, no, no, no. I don't want to do that. And he's like, no, yeah, you get on this. He's like, you start putting yourself out there, you get clients, get on sales calls, close them, do client management. And I was like, ooh, I've been behind the computer where my dad's been dealing with the clients, the management. He would just tell me what to do and I would get it done. So I'm like, no, I'm comfortable. And he was like, do you want to grow? Do you want to get out on your own? Do you want to make some real money? And I'm like, yeah. And then I sat with myself and I'm like, Candace, when you were doing BU, you were this confident gal. You were this girl who's going to events by herself. So once again, I had to remind myself of who I want to become and who I desire to be, and also what I desired for my family. I did desire a household and to provide for my daughter, to get her anything she wanted, clothes, shoes. I want to put her in activities. I did want to put her at daycare because since I was with her 24/7, I was going a little crazy. So I needed some help. So I had to remind myself of that. And then I was like, okay, Dad, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So my very first month of getting my own clients, I made $4,500. And I think it might have been like 4 clients. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look through my notes, but I just know for a fact my first month I made $4,500 and I only worked 40 hours the whole month. That's about 10 hours a week. And that's what I'm here to share with you, just like my story, my opportunity. And that changed my life for me. I was like, I went from making $20 an hour, and if we're doing the math now, to over $100 an hour building online stores for business owners. And sometimes I built them for influencers, and I built stores for people who just have an idea in their head and they're like, I want a merch store. And if you're like, what's a merch store? We'll get into that. But I'm just sharing with you my journey of how for almost 7 years, if I'm doing my math right, I would feel lost. I'd find who myself is. A relationship would happen. A pregnancy would happen. I go back to the drawing board. And then here I am 7 years later, 8 years later. And I had this opportunity, Candace, take the experience and the knowledge you have and go out yourself. Because I felt less than. I was like, who am I to go get clients? And my dad's like, you build stores almost every other day. You don't know what you're doing. And I was like, well, I don't talk about it. I just do it. And what do you know, that first month of making that $4,500, let me tell you, like when I was on these sales calls, and mind you, I have some sales background through my dad and mainly Foot Locker. Foot Locker, let me tell you, they have a great program. Like I learned a lot with them, and I hold a lot of stuff that I learned from that company working with them. But like that first month of sales calls, if they were recorded, you might go back and laugh at them and be like, oh my God, she made $4,500 working 40 hours a month with this type of sales call. Like I probably was botching it, but I showed up, I did the work. And like, obviously the customer saw the value and saw my work of what I could do, and it changed my life. So wait, Daza, do you have anything you want to say or comment?
Cause I'm just like, whoa, like that is an amazing story, Candace. Like, um, that's just, I mean, even starting out, like you said, as a mom, like let's
Mm-hmm.
start
Yeah.
there. You already are going through like everything mentally, trying to pull
Yeah.
yourself up. And I can relate to that so much because I don't know, like I'm a mom of 4,
Yeah.
so it's just it's I want to say it's hard, but it's not easy.
It's not
It's
easy.
not
Yeah.
easy. And you have just been such a blessing in my life because I remember my first what was that, an interview? Did we go live together? A while back when I
Maybe.
first started the program. And I'm like,
Oh,
I know I need to reach out to Candace. I everybody is great. I love everybody in here, but it's something about Candace. And when I reached out to her for help because I was struggling, I was overthinking. I just had a baby. My daughter, high risk, she has hearing loss, and we thought that she had a curved spine, and
Mm.
she actually had to be induced because they thought she was just not growing in my stomach. Come to find out, she's just short. But she did have a single umbilical artery, so
What's
she was just
that?
on a. So basically, what that is basically a regular baby, a regular umbilical cord
Uh-huh.
has two arteries in one vein. I hope I'm saying
Oh.
this right. If you're a nurse or somebody, I have four kids, okay? But two arteries, and basically she was missing one of those. So her
Oh, I didn't
umbilical
know
cord was
that.
just singular, which
Oh.
can restrict their growth and their
Mm.
nutrients and stuff like that. So, but she's still little. Like she's still small. My
She's
baby
just
is
a
like
little
16 months.
baby.
Yeah, she's 16 months and she's in the 6 to 9 months, and I love her. She's just a bundle of joy. But anyway, going through all of that, um, and I'm like you said, trying to figure it out. You're going through all those
It's a
emotions.
lot. Yeah.
And I'm pulling myself up out of this, like, I feel like it's a dark hole, but
Mhm.
I can
Mhm.
see the light at the
Yeah.
end of the tunnel. So starting out, the way we even connected was just a miracle, right? It's a
Yeah.
manifestation. Because I was looking, and I shared this story with you, but I was looking for a platform for me to be able
Oh
to
yeah.
do my own branded drop shipping for my own business. Um,
Mhm.
and I stumbled across a 4-day training with Dan and Dwight.
Yep.
And they're a part of the Launch Cart team. And they were like, you could build a t-shirt business and this and that in 4 days. I'm like, okay. So I
Seen these
have
before.
right. So I hopped on, I ended up joining, and I started my launch cart store a while back before they even sent out the email to me. But I'm just like, you know what? Like everybody, right? We start something, we quit. A lot of us, especially being moms,
Mhm.
being busy,
Oh
being
yeah.
serial entrepreneurs, we start and quit. But
Mhm.
because they had my information, right? Those emails are so important. You got to get those
Yeah.
emails, right?
Yeah.
They were like, come join us for the 4-day challenge. So I ended up joining, and I actually learned so much that it was just mind boggling to me. Ever since, I want to say, 2014, I've been online, trying to figure it out. I even started off going to thrift stores, refurbishing like Levi's, bejeweling them and posting them on eBay.
I love that.
I've been on
You know
Instagram.
that was a born entrepreneur right there when you're young and you out there like that's how you know like when I hear stories like that and it's funny I hear it just not to cut you off but I've heard stories like that from you and a few others who are in the e-commerce industry and I'm like that was like before e-commerce was e-commerce right like you were selling stuff online
Yes.
and then it's kind of full circle which is beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. I remember talking to my sister. We were trying to like sell hair extensions, and I was selling hair extensions, but I just kept telling her, I'm like, I wish it was a way we can connect these two systems together where we never have to touch the hair. And look at that, you know, 2022, I stumbled across this platform, and I'm learning how to literally automate my own merch without ever having to touch a product. So I got the opportunity to get on a call with the CEO of Launchcart, which is Candace's father. And he broke down her story. He broke down Candace's story. And I'm like, you know what? I need to hop on to this. Like, if she's a mom and she's doing all of this stuff and she's trying to work from home and then she's
Mhm.
taking out, winding up with $4,500 in a month and she's working part time. I'm like, I got to figure something out because what I'm doing is not working. And it's just a blessing, right, to be able to serve other people. So
Yeah.
once I went through the program, Candace guided me every step of the way. Like I literally probably was just getting on her nerves because I'm like, Candace, how do
No.
you do this? How do you do that? What's going on with
No.
this?
Okay. Wait, really quick before you get into that, let me share that what she's talking about because I didn't bring up the launch shops yet. But
Yeah,
let me acknowledge you, like you did not get on my nerves because you want to know something with my students. I love when my students are needy because that shows me that you are doing the work. Like when my students aren't texting, emailing me, or calling me, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You have this silver platter in front of you, do the work, show up, and I'll be here to hold your hand. But wait,
Yes.
let me share really quick, Days. Like you brought up the program, so I didn't bring up the program. So with you guys, so since I made that $4,500 that first month, and for me, it was literally life changing because, like, to be transparent, once again, I was only making $20 an hour, and mind you, like I know it's not minimum wage, at least not in California. Actually, I don't even know what minimum wage is in California. I know it keeps going up because of inflation, but like I had worked in the same company that had multiple companies for almost 7 years, so I worked myself up to that, and to me, that was like at the time, like that was a decent amount of money. And it still very well is for some of you watching. I understand that, but when I had the desire to and I still have it, to buy a home one day, to get my dream car, to be able to put my daughter in swim lessons, in gymnastics, in dance, when I have the desire to go shopping and get my nails done, my hair did, all those expensive add up, right? So I knew I had to make more money. I made it happen. And mind you, it was like, it was not, I was pulling legs, but I was like, I know what's possible, and I know it's possible within me. So I had success just that first month, working less than 40 hours. And I was like, oh my God, if I can do this, if little Miss Me can do this, I know others can do it too. Because I had no training, I had no guidance. Like, I didn't really. Like, yes, my dad had this e-commerce platform, but we didn't have coaches at the time, like e-commerce coaches. I had been in the e-commerce industry, though, I guess, for like 3 years at that point. So I already had been building stores on our competitor, Shopify. And then when my dad launched this platform, I obviously immersed myself in that platform. But when I say I didn't have guidance or coaching, like I didn't have someone create a program and I watched them and learned from them. I was self-taught. Like even with LaunchCart, I remember at the time when my dad launched it, he told the team, he was like, you all get a store. Please go in there and make one. He's like, I need you to get familiar with the platform so we could figure out how to always improve it. Because that's one thing about LaunchCart. We're always trying to improve it. We're listening to our community. So that's how I learned LaunchCart, was literally by just getting in there. And then how to sell clothes and make stores. Once again, I was self-taught on how to build the stores, how to sell them. Yes, I did some client calls with my dad in the past from sales. So I had this experience and knowledge, but I didn't have a program. So with that said, I had my success. And you know me, I want to, after you've heard, like I've had a passion from a young age to serve others. So my dad and I, we put our heads together and we're like, let's create a program, a 7-week program to teach others exactly the same. How to build online stores on LaunchCart, merchandise stores, which she just touched on. A merch store is typically, it's with print-on-demand products. So for example, the stores that I've built stores for, they don't have to worry about inventory or fulfillment. It relieves a lot of headaches. So it's a really good niche. So let's coach people how to build these stores, and then we'll coach them how to sell, how to get clients, and then how to sell. A one-stop shop to change people's lives, because it really did change my life. Like here I am. I think it's almost Daza. Like, how long have you been in the program? Is it? I think it's like a year and a half for me, or 2 years. I don't know. I'm so bad with math. But see, you don't got to be good at math to do this.
Yeah. I think for me, I think it's been about a little over a year.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a little over a year. 2020. I guess. Oh, wait, I guess technically. See, I'm so bad. I got to go back to my notes. But I think I've been doing this for then well over 2 years. But the whole point is, we put it into a course to show others how to do the same. Yeah. Because if I can do it, like I said, if I can do it, others can do it. And that's how Daza was sharing a little bit. That's how I met her. She became a student of this program. And Daza, you can share how you found the program then. Because I always forget that you started off with the 4-day challenge. But you can share, because then that's how Daza got into the program. She became one of my students, and she was real needy, calling me up. No. I loved it. That's how Daza and I got close, because I was like, I have a student who's like doing the work and who like wants to know all the ins and the outs. She really took advantage of what was available to her. So Daza, go ahead then and share then how you went from finding LaunchCart from the 4-day challenge to then, you said you were on the call with the CEO. How'd you get on the call with the CEO?
Oh yeah. So it started off with me looking for a platform to do I think I even Googled like mini website, because I knew I didn't want to have a full-blown website. People are now going crazy with the landing pages. You know what I mean? Like, our attention spans are just so short. So I wanted to get something that was quick, simple there, that I can connect to my YouTube channel, that I can also connect to, Instagram, Facebook, all of these platforms where I can literally just tag my products and keep it going. Like right now, for instance, with Women Boss Ignited, I am going to share my shirts.
Ooh, and I love that shirt. I gotta get one.
Yes, thank you. That shirt was actually is actually a product, from my own custom merch store. So I was looking for a store for myself. Stumbled across Launch Cart, got on the platform, but like a lot of people who reach out to us for coaching, or help to get their store built, I just wandered off. I'm like, okay, I can't figure this out, which it was really
Mm.
simple now that I went through the
Yeah.
program, drag and drop. But at that
Hmm.
time, I'm just like, you know what? I'm not about to do this right now.
Yeah.
Stumbled across a invite for the 4-day challenge, and the 4-day challenge promised that I would learn how to do, or create my own t-shirt business. After going through that program, it literally changed my life, because I'm like, wow, like this really works. And like I have a store now, I have products now, like I'm building this and it's working. We hear a lot of fluff, a lot of people talk about what they can do for you and how they
Hmm.
can help you, but I always say the number one thing that stood out for me with the launch card community is that they always showed up and they added that value. Like
Hmm.
leading with value is so important, in authenticity, right? Look at Candace. Like she doesn't have to be here, but she's here with me as my e-commerce coach and coaching a lot of other people. You know what I mean? And like you have a lot of, my camera is twisting. Goodness, give me one second. You have a lot of, things on your plate. So it just shows, how you show up for your people and your community.
Hmm.
So I went from there. I got my store and everything set up, and then I got an invite from the CEO of Launchcart, like, hey,
Mm.
you want to, make full-time income working part-time. And I'm like, oh, what's this? Like, because I've
You're like, here
already
we go again. This 4-day.
what because the 4-day was so genuine and authentic and raw and real, and I got real, I got instant results. I'm like, okay, cool, let me figure this out. Is this the real thing? So I clicked on that. I was able to sit in, and I told your dad, I don't know if you remember, but I told him, I'm like, I want to make $200,000. He's like,
Oh
how much
yeah.
would be would be a feasible amount? I'm like, $200,000 a month for me. Like you said, I have 4 kids, so I want to make sure that they're in the best
Mm.
schools, they have the best opportunities. We want to buy a home, we want to get an RV, we want to get off the grid, right? So that was an opportunity because it aligned with my goals. I see myself working from home, off my laptop, off my computer,
Hmm.
not constricted or restricted. I'm able to do what I want around my family and my children. So Launchcard provided that for me, and the beautiful thing about the whole platform is that it is self-paced, but because of the community, because of the people
Hmm.
that are involved, like it's a game changer when you have a mentor that you can actually reach out to, that you can ask for, help or any questions. So this is why I wanted to bring Candace on today as an e-commerce coach and mentor, because it's like we got to get this out to the world, especially
Yeah.
to my other business besties out there that are like,
Hmm.
I want to make money around my children. I want to learn, a skill set that can provide for my family. And my first week, I ran a $30 ad. I was able to make $300 from a $30 ad of me, of it's a voiceover actually, of me scrolling down one
Hmm.
of my e-commerce stores showing the merch that I created. And I'm like, this is possible for anybody. If you're doing this, if you're a mortgage
Yep.
loan originator, if you're a real estate agent, like whatever you're doing, this is possible for you. And I can cut that ad on at any time and start my lead generation. But like Candace said, not only did they teach, me how to build my e-commerce store the proper way and how to build e-commerce stores for other people, right? They say you teach a man, what is it? You teach a man how to fish, then he'll fish forever.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why I love the platform, because not only did I learn that, but also too, now I have access to leads. I get leads on my phone. I'm getting text messages of leads and opportunities, right? Because it doesn't matter how great you can build the best stores and the best, you may have the
Hmm.
best digital marketing agency out there.
Yeah.
But if you're not in front of people, If you're not
Mm-hmm.
getting in front of that, if you're not getting that exposure, then you're not going to really get the sales. And for
Mm-hmm.
Candace, you can attest to this, but making $4,500, how many leads did you have to, be in front of? How many people did you have to contact? Do you remember?
Oh. Well, to be transparent for that first month though, those were since I was already building stores at that time. Um, like for my dad, he already had a bundle of leads, so he passed them to me. But I guess though we were going to events, so I don't know. We're already we had it. We were going to events. Sometimes we were just at the event as an attendee. Most of the time now we have a booth, and
Yep.
we're in front of hundreds
Yep.
of people to close. Gosh, I don't know, a lead or two, but now for me, I'm not depending on him as I was in that like beginning, like getting leads from him.
Yeah.
And I now like I'm organically getting leads from my Instagram, and I'm going to my own events or networking, and I'm DMing people. I don't even know. Like I try to say like I try to keep it like so I'm not DMing people all day or emailing,
Yeah.
but it's at least like 10 people a day. And then maybe
Yeah.
like 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20. But to me, if I'm just to cut you off really quick, so Daza she just said, and I'm sharing this because of what I'm about to say. My mind's all over the place. I'm getting real excited now because we're
Look, we
talking
got
about the
this.
opportunity.
We got
Because
this.
I'm like, that's why I love Daza, because we're so passionate about like, once again, if I can do it, if Daza can do it, it's like others can do it. And it's like, if you have the desire for more, you have the desire to work from home, set your own hours, work when you want, choose who you want to work with, which we teach that in the training. Like, who do you want to work with? This opportunity is just so amazing. But Daza said she had a $30 ad and made $300. So Days a charge to build a store for $300. Now I remember when Days and I were messaging, and I was like, "Girl, I'm happy you did that because you got to get your foot in the door. You got to get your first client, but you're gonna raise your guys like you're gonna raise the price real quick, real quick." And what do you know? I wish I had found it before this call, but maybe next call I'll play it. I have a voice audio from Daza, and she's like, "Candace, like for selling a merch store, she's like, I got my first $1,000 client. They just sent the money. It's invoiced." And I was like, yes, because I was like, because the thing is, I will admit, you might be like, well, y'all are scamming people. Like if you're saying you got like, if I said I got 4 clients the first month and I only worked 40 hours, that's like 10 hours per store. Yeah, 10 hours per store. Like, and it could be less, could be more. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like,
Yeah.
people are paying us for the time that we've invested into ourselves, the time that we've invested into these programs. So I
That's
think
the
Days
thing.
is well overcharging over $1,000. I started off building merch stores and charging $800, and now I'm up to minimum $2,000 a store. And I'm
Yeah.
just sharing this to be transparent because I'm just sharing with you what I charge to build these online stores and how I'm able to charge high and work not a lot. Like to me, it's not a lot. 10 hours is not a lot. And that's how I got the number of I make well over $100 an hour. But it's like people they're paying us for our time. That's like I'm so bad at retelling stories, but I love this visual. It was like there was a story that I heard, and it was like a guy's like, "Hey, something broke, a pipe broke in my house. I don't know where it is. I need a plumber to come by." The plumber comes by, and he literally like goes in the house. He's there for like 5 minutes. He finds the broken pipe and he just like hammers it or something, or just knocks it, who knows, and it fixes it. And he goes out to the owner. He's like, okay, $10,000 or some crazy number. And mind you, maybe it's a made up story, but the point is, the owner's like, wait, what? He's like, I'm not paying you that much. Like you just got here and you just like it just fixed it. You just fixed it in 5 minutes. And the guy's like, you're not paying me for my time. You're not paying me for how long it took me. Like you're paying me for like how quickly as I got done. It's like this is like 20 years of experience to find this issue. He's like, you could have not known about this water leak, and what do you know? It floods your whole house, and now you're paying way more than this. So that was probably botching that story. But the whole point is like when you know your value and you know your expertise and how that is valuable, you set the bar high. So Daza started at 300,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you want to share Daza what you charge now, but it's like she said a little bit over a year. So she's
Yeah.
continuing to pour into herself and be in that student mentality. I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, okay, I've mastered building stores. I've mastered getting clients. Now what's next? I want to stay in student mentality because knowledge is power. And Daza
Yes,
and
it
I are
is.
always talking about that. Knowledge is power. That's what sets us apart from people who aren't choosing to learn. and choosing to, and I get it, I scroll on social media, watch videos all day. I do the same thing sometimes. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
Candace, rather than sitting here watching TikToks for the next 3 hours, like at 9
Mhm.
p.m., I'm like, let me watch something that's going to add value to my brain. Like, let me go learn a skill set. So, and that's
Yeah.
what this program is. It's giving you a skill set so you can walk confidently, talk confidently, and grow your own business, grow your own agency. And that's what Daza is doing. She is building her own agency. And that's what I love, Daza. And I love this program. It's because you can go through this program and you could figure out what works best for you. So Daza, she's going to build her own agency, or she's in the process of doing it. She has a team members, meaning Daza's going to probably be the client management, closing the deals, and then she's going to pass that work to the team, to someone who will build the store. She's going to have a graphic designer. And mind you, we
Oh,
teach this in the
yeah.
training. Where me, just because I already do a lot. I already do a lot. So Daza's doing the agency side. I'm like, I'm just gonna get a couple clients a month, which if I'm making 2 clients at my minimum price, which is 2,000, that's $4,000, right? And I was like, I'm gonna focus on other side hustles that I have because I'm a affiliate with different programs, so I have passive income coming in, which that's something we talk about. Daza and I talk about. Um, and then I'm working on something else that's very exciting. I'm working on my own ebooks that I'm about to launch very soon. So and the reason why I share this because you can do it like me, where if you just want to make an extra $1,000, $2,000, this program's perfect for that. If you want to be like Daisy and you're like, I'm gonna make up to $200,000 or more, I can do that. And if
Yeah.
you're hearing that and you're like, no effing way, well then I pulled it up because I'm like, I get how money, we can have limiting thoughts about it and be like, I can't make that much, or who am I to make that much? Well, then you need to get the book, You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. We got to start reframing that money mindset because that's
Yeah.
how Daza likes money, and she ain't gonna shy away from saying it. So Daza,
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that tangent, but just Daza,
But no, like, yeah. It's the time, it's the season. I've been in a deep, mental just reset, reflect, reload type
mm-hmm,
of stage. I was just telling Candace earlier how, it's so easy sometimes to get sidetracked
yeah,
and, being a mom, having responsibilities, being everything that we are to everybody else. We got to get back to the basics and prioritize ourselves and also our cash flow, because like Candace said,
mm-hmm,
your nails, they cost, your hair, it costs. And I was just talking to her about some strategies that I'm going to be taking up, in my own agency. But one thing that stood out that her dad, really emphasized on when I joined the partnership was that you can outsource. And that
mm-hmm,
changed the game for me because I've already done everything myself. And
mm-hmm,
I still have to let my hand off of a lot of things.
mm-hmm,
So because I know my time is very limited and I have 4 children and I have a baby that has some, disabilities, I have to make sure that I'm getting the maximum use of my time. So now I'm even getting to the point where I'm positioning closers to close
mm-hmm.
out. We're not going to get in this today, but Launchcart just launched a CRM that
Oh,
DMs you, that can DM your people back. Like when you type DM me ready or DM me
yeah,
10,000 to make your first 10,000, like that's crazy, right? So just imagine having an agency where you outsource, like Candace was saying, all of your digital, graphic design, everything.
mm-hmm,
My team members, my virtual assistants, they're from Pakistan. They know how to build out full blown e-commerce stores, right? I taught them everything that I know. So I pay them to build out the e-commerce stores. Then just imagine also having a closer that's closing out deals, constantly sourcing leads, on top of having a community of coaches and leaders and individuals that are there to help you and support you. So you're pretty much running a business at that point on autopilot outside of client management. You can even put somebody else in that position to manage your clients. And that is what got me excited, because I'm not at the phase of my life where I want to be hands on anymore. I want everything to
we
be
don't got
automated.
time. We got
Passive
time
income,
is
me,
money. Yeah.
please.
Yes.
Affiliate me, please. Not to mention that you get, so for me, 40% commission on every store that's built under my affiliate link.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
Wait. Well, two things. That's why I
I
love
got some money in
Daza.
there right now too.
Woo! Oh yeah. Oh, I have my affiliate just stacking up for a rainy day. I'm like, the Candace, don't touch it. Let it grow. Let it grow. Okay, wait.
Yes.
Two things. One thing. That's why I love Daza, because I feel like my mind, and I don't know, maybe Daza's does too, but she just articulates so clear and concise. Like my mind goes at a million miles per hour, so I love when I'm talking, and then here comes Daza to just like to reiterate it, but just so clear and like, you just articulate so well, Daza.
Thank you, Candace.
The second thing, because there's so like that's the thing, we can't. There's so much we can share with you, but we don't have all the time, so we don't want to have this podcast be 3 hours long. But like she just brought up how like she makes affiliate commission on any stores she builds on Launchcart. So Launchcart, what sets Launchcart apart from other e-commerce platforms, it has a free plan, no 2-week trial. Okay, it's built by digital marketers, very successful digital marketers. They took all the pain points that they had on Shopify, which was the biggest one in the game. And they're like, how do we make this easier and simpler for the newbie to build a store and get going and get making money? So they took all this knowledge and put it into Launchcart. Okay. So it's a very simple, user-friendly store. It's supposed to help you get started literally in 4 days. It could be a day too. Like if you could watch these challenge videos that she's talking about in one day and have a store up in one day. But there are paid plans. So what Daza just said, which is so powerful, any client that she gets, and myself included, we get 40% on the commission. So I think the tiers go up from like $27 a month to, I think, I'm so bad at the platform that I work with every day, to I think about maybe
like
200. Yeah. So that's just reoccurring revenue monthly.
That's stacking.
Monthly. Like, and that's like what Daza and I talk about. It's in the program. Like we're always trying to find those platforms that we love, that we use daily, and we get on the like affiliate. You have to like sign up generally to get commissions from these programs because it's passive income. You're reoccurring it every month. So I just want to say, if you're listening to this and you're intrigued by what Daza and I are sharing, because I know it might be a lot, because I know Daza and I we're sharing our story. It's our first time together sharing our story. So we're going to perfect this. But if you're like, okay, I want to work from home, or I'm a mom and I do want to make extra income, or, oh, I want to build my own business and I want to learn how Daza is learning how to outsource, to close, to sell, to build a team so she can be hands-free. Because mind you, Daza's been doing this she's been an entrepreneur in business for years, but she's been in a program for over a year, and she's now at a place where it's literally going to be like automated, right? So that's not a long time. Like that's not a long time to continue to learn and then implement. So if you are interested in wanting to learn more about this, I need you to comment below or DM Daza or DM myself, and we will send you the link to the replay of the webinar that talks more in depth about the Launch Shop Partner Program. I just actually did the webinar last week with my dad. We opened the doors for enrollment. We try to open them, every so often. We might leave it evergreen because we want to make sure when we get our new students in that, like myself and my dad and our other coaches, we're able to really give you our time and energy. So if you want to learn more, we'll also we'll paste the comment in the comment section. But if you're watching this on Audible, then please go take initiative. Go find Daza or go find me. It's at Candace Writer. Daza, what's your where can people or maybe email you? How can people from your community message you to get this link?
Yep, at Daza Phillips.
At Daza Phillips. And actually, sorry to cut you off. I forgot, if you're uploading this to Audible, we'll probably be able to put links in the show notes. So we're going to make sure it's accessible so you can get this link. So you can just watch the webinar. There's a big Q&A session at the end. So if you have any questions, because I want to be transparent, there's definitely an investment. There's an investment on your part because we believe there has to be an investment to make you show up. If it's free, you won't show up. We know that. It's proven. It's tested. If you don't put money behind something, you don't show up. Like if I go to a gym and it's free, I ain't showing up. But when I go pay a trainer and I pay over $300, trust me, Candace is showing up because she wants to get her money's worth. So there is an investment to keep you accountable, but just know in this program, it's a pre-recorded program that's going to coach you to literally how to build stores, how to close, how to get clients, how to build an agency. There's a community. You get to join a private Facebook group with all past students and current students. Daza's in there. You then get into a private Slack community. We do weekly coaching calls because this program that we have created, we want you to win and succeed. Why? Well, we want you to win and succeed no matter what, but also it benefits LaunchCart. When you win, LaunchCart wins, and that's my dad's platform. So that's why we give so much. That's why Days is like, I went through this 4-day challenge and they gave so much away because we're not gatekeepers. We're like, if you guys win, if we could show you how to build an online store and how to start selling, that makes our platform successful. So we want to always continue to give you the tools, the guidance to make sure you can succeed. So like I said, if you want that link, DM Daza at Daza Phillips, or look at the show notes, or look in the notes or the comments of this video.
Women
And
Boss Ignited.
yeah,
Yep.
Woman
On
Boss
Facebook.
Ignited. Watch the video, and if you have any questions, like, we're an open book, as you can see. Daza and I, we love to share, we love to give. There was something else I was going to say, but is there anything else you want to add to that, or to the investment part, Daza? Because I know you feel strongly about that as well.
Well, you know what? It goes back to, I would say someone in this if I was to say getting into this program, who would be the ideal, right, person? Who would be the target? For me, Candace, it's going to be someone like myself who is confident in their abilities. They know if they just had the perfect tools in the systems and the opportunity, that they could take it and make it, great. They can
Mm-hmm.
take it and take it and really build off of it, so that way they can get their desired result.
Mm-hmm.
It's some people out there that want to pay but don't want to put in anything else in return.
Mm-hmm.
For those people, I would say just keep it, keep pocket your money. Watch some more videos, stalk launch carts, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. If you're in the Woman Boss United group, you're seeing me dropping clients in there all the time. So you can, DM us and ask us questions. But I'm talking to those of you who are ready. You're like,
Yeah.
I know I'm at a space in my life
Yeah.
where I want something different. I want to
Yeah.
work from home. I have kids. I'm a student. I'm in school. I can't, keep doing this day by day, going in and
Yeah.
out. And even if you're working a 9 to 5, I just want to make that, I can't just say the extra
Yeah.
2,000, an extra $4,000, and you're ready, you're mentally ready to put in the work. I
Yeah.
say go for it, because I'm a walking testimony. Within my first
Yeah.
week, like I said, off of $30, I made $300. And then on top of that, launch cart, not only, I have a very big extensive sales background, but they not only, help me, just give me the tools, and they gave me the foundation, but they also help sharpen
Mm-hmm.
those sales skills as
Yeah.
well, because this is a different product, and it doesn't really matter when you have experience of sales, but it
Mm-hmm.
does matter
Yeah.
when you're away from it for a while. So
Yep.
sharpening up your tools, and then also too, you're not just paying for the program, you're paying for access, right? You're getting access to very high skilled expert marketers that are in the realm of building out platforms, and agencies, and people that are actually doing this on a day-to-day basis. So you got to think about that. What are you willing to pay for, to get your foot in the door? And to be honest, I want you to ask yourself, what is it costing you? What
Mm-hmm.
is it costing you by not having a high ticket value skill offer, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a high ticket value offer, it's going to be very hard to make it, I would say, in this economy, because
Mm-hmm.
just doing a 9 to 5 nowadays is just not enough, right?
No.
We need something. We need a side hustle. We need groceries are going up, gas is going up, so we need something extra. So when you learn a skill that can pay you 2,500, $5,000, $10,000, you know that's game changing, right? You get one of those deals and you add that up throughout the year, you probably would literally make way more than you would make just at your part-time job. And I say put them both together, put the
Yeah.
two together and make it work. But that's what I have, Candace. Do you have anything to add outside of that? We're at three.
Yeah, I know. Well, I just love what you said, and we say it all the time. What is it costing you to not invest in yourself? Like, I have been, since starting 2020, I have been purchasing, what's it called? programs left and right, you know,
Yeah.
because I know as I continue to pour into myself and be surrounded around experts and coaches, be surrounded around people who are already in the space that I want to be in, I'm gonna get there quicker. I'm gonna fast track my success. Cause yes, there's a lot of things out there that I could teach you for free. I'm not trying to like sell you. I just want to paint the picture because I think for me when I heard that, like back when I bought my first program that I ever bought for myself, which was a year ago now, and I guess so not 2020, a year ago, and then since then I bought 3 different programs. She was like, what is it costing you to not invest in yourself? And that really gave me like an aha moment. I was like, you're right. Like if I don't invest in this, I'm gonna stay doing the same shit, excuse my language, every single day. I'm gonna stay doing the same thing, having the same excuses, not having accountability, not having a community. So I love that you brought that up. And then I just want to like also bring up, I love what Daisy said earlier. She was like, just for her about talking about building a store, an online store. She thought it felt overwhelming, but once she went through the 4-day training and then the program, she realized it's actually pretty simple. And I think that's what is cool about us. Like we're very detail oriented because we want to make sure you are building these optimized, converting online stores. Because now when you have a good, product that you just deliver to your customer, they're happy, and guess what? They're giving you referrals. So I work a lot of my business right now is off referrals and yes, DMing people. But let me tell you, I get more referrals than like because I sometimes I DM and I forget to reply because I'm terrible at that. But I get referrals. So we want to make sure we're teaching you how to create a beautiful product to deliver so you can get great testimonies. I You said something else. I was writing my notes, but now I can't read my notes. But whatever you just said was so beautiful, Taza. So I think just some homework for you guys. Click the link, watch the webinar, and then another homework. If like maybe you're at a place and you're just watching this and you're like, oh, this sounds great, but you just feel undeserving, or you're like, that couldn't be me. Like I love that for Candace and Daza, but that couldn't be me. Then I do highly encourage you to at least get the book. I just keep looking at it so I can remember the name, even though I've read it and it's on my nightstand every night. You Are a Badass at Making Money. And also, so get a book, like expand your mind. Okay, Daza and I, we told ourselves we're going to commit to showing up together at least once a week to her community, to Woman Boss Ignited. So show up to these lives, or if they're pre-recorded, listen to them. Continue to pour into yourself. Continue to water into yourself. Okay. But yeah, that's all I want to leave it with, Daza, is I just want to like my heart is just to like tell your community to continue to show up, to continue to say, I am beautiful, I am worthy, I am deserving of much more, I am deserving of the life I desire or I aspire to desire, because that's what I've been doing these past 6 months, and more so. And Daza knows I've been telling her I've been feeling an awakening these past few weeks. And it's because I've gotten back to getting in a routine of putting my phone down and opening a book or watching a sermon or, watching a YouTube video that's on how to, like for me, I'm currently learning funnels, and if you don't know what funnels is, that's okay, we'll teach you if you join in. But I'm trying to continue to master my my skill sets. So we got to knowledge is power. We got to continue to grow, because then guess what? You get what you want. You get what you want. You will achieve what you want. So yeah.
I love that, Candace. Thank you so much. Like that was just very like I love that. And I'm over here just like, whoo. If you feel undeserving, if you feel because I felt that way, I
Mm-hmm.
felt like that. And the imposter syndrome definitely kicks in
Oh yeah.
at times. So just knowing that, you've done it, you give me so much, just inspiration and empowerment knowing your story and that you are a Wi-Fi mama. You can make money off your phone,
Mm-hmm.
and off your laptop. So I just want to say thank you again for, coming on with us and sharing your story to our community. I'm looking forward to our next video on branding, e-commerce, and everything else in between.
Yeah.
And with that being said, guys, if you're watching this, make sure you comment hashtag replay. If you're watching this later on, stay tuned for those links as well and reach out
Yeah.
to us if you have any questions.
Yeah.
But thank you guys
Literally.
again. Yes.
Yeah. Like message us. Take advantage that we want to give to you. okay? Because we want to give to you, we want to pour into you as well. So definitely my Instagram is at Candace Writer, Daza right at Daza Phillips.
Yep.
So definitely
Yes.
do that. But yeah, thank you. I just want to say thank you again. I'm Daza knows I'm so bad at hanging up, like hang up the phone call, hang up these calls. I just want to stay here, but I am really thankful to be a part of your community now and to show up, and I can't wait to continue to show up. So thank you, Daza.
Yes. Thank you, Candace. Well, until next time. Bye bye, guys.